Well, I'd always been fascinated with architecture, and it turns out that architecture has a lot in common with city planning. A lot of the same issues happen at a micro scale. Most people don't even perceive it. So your typical house actually has traffic patterns, it has land use, and a lot of things that a city does, a lot of the same dynamics, but it's something that you experience every day and you're very intimate with, and so it almost disappears and becomes invisible to you. So I wanted to do a game about architecture, showing all the strategic forethought that goes into building a house. From that, as I delved into it, I started realizing that a major component of that had to be the people that would live in the house, that would actually be the test. They would score the house for you. So the project actually grew in scope quite a bit. Started out as an architectural game, but it ended up, the majority of the work ended up being simulating the people within the house and what drove their needs and desires, as well as furnishing the house and the relationships between the people. Well, they basically have a life that they live. They get jobs, they go to work, they have kids, raise family, they have parties with their neighbors, they meet people, fall in love, they earn money, which then you, the player, use to purchase things for their house or to expand their house, including the yard, landscaping. So basically you are engineering their lifestyle, and they are basically scoring your play by being happy or miserable, and it's up to you. What I like to do is I like to sit there and look at this family and get into the mindset of how they might feel living there. I really like to do the thing where I put my house in the game and my family, and then I have this alternate reality, this game about me and my life, and then I can spin it off into really weird directions, that I won't do in real life. But I might try a new addition to my house, or I might try getting a job, in the Navy, or I might see the burglar come in and try and catch him. So these are things that, for me, it's almost like a spreadsheet for lifestyle in that direction. But on the other side, it's like this this alternate toy house that I can play with that resembles my house, but I can then do weird architectural things. We tried to leave as many directions open as possible, both with the people and the house and the neighbors, so that you can approach it very experimentally. There's this balance of time that you have to attain in the game between your work, your family, maintaining the household, and it's a very tricky balance, but it's actually the same balance that people are working with every day in their real lives. So that's what interested me about the strategic possibilities, because in our everyday life there is so much strategy going on that we are totally not even seeing. It's just invisible to us. So that's why I wanted to make this game, so that people would think a little bit more about how, in essence, their real life is a real-time strategy game, and they're playing it all the time. So in fact, you can kill the characters. They can die of starvation, they can burn to death if you burn the kitchen down and they're stuck in the middle of it. There are a lot of fairly dramatic failure states to this, and I fully expect that people are going to go in and try and kill their Sims, or lock them in a closet for 2 weeks and see what happens, or try and incite riots or fistfights amongst the family. And so we've tried to develop that to an interesting degree, because without interesting failure states, the success in the game is less meaningful. So, most games, in essence, are a set of problems that the user is presented with. That's what we sell in computer games, are a set of problems packaged in an interesting format. And it's once you learn to play the game that you can deftly avoid these traps and get by the problems that all of a sudden your success is that much more satisfying. Well, one of the things we did from square one with this product is we made the architecture for the objects of the game plug-in, which means that we can bring in new pieces of furniture, new objects into the game. And what's interesting is that all the behavior for these people is actually embedded in the objects. So for instance, I could download a soccer ball from a website, which would be fairly small, but it would contain all the rules for the Sims to get on screen and play soccer amongst themselves.